Welcome to the Crush Cravings with Confidence podcast. I'm Coach Lisa Callahan, a recovered emotional eater. I ended decades of self-inflicted struggles with food through taking a journey of self-discovery, which revealed the secrets of what was going on underneath the food. Throughout this podcast, we'll explore topics that are rarely talked about, like low self-esteem, lack of confidence, people-pleasing, and decades of self-sabotaging behaviors. Rather than just focusing on the food, we'll dive deeper into aspects of who you are as a person and how you ended up relying on food for comfort to begin with. My mission is simple: to empower women to regain their confidence and prioritize self-love, regardless of the number on the scale. Discover what you've really been craving, and trust me, it's not about the food. This podcast is based on insights shared from the Women's Emotional Eating Community Support Group on Facebook, so be sure to check out the show notes for the link to the group and a complimentary gift just for you. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Hey, welcome to another fun and insightful episode of the Crush Cravings with Confidence podcast. The topic today is, how do I feel better about myself without using food to soothe? The reason I want to bring you this topic today is because this month in the Women's Emotional Eating Community Support Group on Facebook, we're talking about how to love yourself before you ever lose a pound. If you don't believe that you can love yourself before you ever lose a pound, I want you to write this down. You cannot hate yourself into a version that you love. So if you're feeling badly about yourself to begin with, and then you tell yourself that you have to use food to soothe, you're missing a crucial part of the puzzle, a sense of self. And when you tell yourself that you're using food to soothe, the word soothing, it sounds comforting, right? It sounds nice. But what you're really saying is that you're subconsciously wanting to feel lethargic, unmotivated, weak, the feeling that you are out of control, ashamed, guilty, disconnected, numb, unworthy, unlovable, hopeless, addicted, and stuck. Now, I know it doesn't seem like that's anything that you would actually want. And yet, if you're telling yourself that you're using food to soothe, then you're giving strength to the weakest part of yourself. And those are the parts that don't feel confident. They don't trust your own ability to, be able to be capable in any situation. And they don't really feel that worthy, because you're basically telling yourself that you can't handle things. Everything's too overwhelming. Everything's too stressful, and that you need food to soothe. And let's face it, that's the weakest version of you. But let me just be clear. That doesn't represent all of you. And the reason why you know this is because when push comes to shove, you're a pretty powerful woman. You're a powerfully minded person. You can get things done. You can have strong, committed opinions. You can be an advocate. Come on, you advocate for your kids, your grandkids, your spouse, other family members or friends, and other things that you're passionate about. You're an advocate. And even if, let's say, your fur baby, if that fur baby needed something, you would go above and beyond to help create something that was going to help their life. You'd be the first person to advocate. And yet, when it comes to taking care of yourself, you tell yourself that you can't handle it. You tell yourself that you're overwhelmed. You tell yourself that you just need something to take the edge off and that you need something to soothe. And so then what you end up doing, accidentally, is you end up stabbing yourself in the back, because the things that you're choosing to soothe, which again, soothing is a beautiful, kind, loving word, right? It's nice. It's like slipping into a bubble bath or getting a foot massage. It's soothing. It's relaxing. It's like, getting your scalp rubbed at a salon. It feels good. This doesn't feel good. Feeding yourself crappy junk food, it doesn't feel good. And you know it, because it doesn't feel good long term. And so it ends up becoming the same thing that you're telling yourself is soothing, ends up becoming the very same thing that's hurting you. And you know that it's going to kill you in the long run. And I say that with absolute love and kindness, but that if you keep eating all of that junk food and then telling yourself that it's meant to soothe, you know that you're accidentally going to be throwing your body into high levels of toxic, shock for your system. And you know that that's not good for your blood pressure and your heart and, wanting to get out and move and your motivation. So it just doesn't make sense. Two things can't mean the same thing. You can't admittedly say that junk food is literally hurting you with, high blood pressure, diabetes, unmotivated, feeling bad about yourself, extra weight. You can't say that those foods are doing that to you and then also turn around and be like, oh, these are the foods that I soothe with. You can't do both. You can't have both. And so this is why when you get yourself all worked up and you tell yourself that you just need something to soothe, you're lying to yourself because you are a powerfully minded person. You're just not leaving the powerfully minded person in the driver's seat of your own life. And yet she's there. And somehow or another, when you convince yourself that you need food to soothe, you kick her out of the driver's seat and in steps the weakest version of yourself. And so this is where you feel helpless and hopeless and you feel like you cannot fend for yourself. Well, it's because your sense of self has let go of the steering wheel of your own life. In my Crush That Food Thing self-discovery system, which is where I help women to connect with their inner self, to become an advocate for their own best interest. And it helps because it leads you to staying connected and aligned with your integrity, which is where you're not going to abandon yourself. You're not going to tell yourself that the very same thing that you know is hurting you is also meant to soothe you. So we're going to start to step into that power. And that's what I teach my Crush That Food Thing self-discovery system, because sometimes when you say I just need something, I need to soothe, I need to take the edge off, we teach you that the word need is actually a child's word. And the word want is an adult word. And so what is it that you want to do? To have your own back, to be an advocate for your best interest, because there's no way that you can possibly tell yourself that junk food is for your best interest because you know it doesn't leave you feeling whole. So if you want to feel like you have this need to self-sabotage, lose your sense of self, abandon yourself, isolate, and do things that are not supporting your best interests, you will end up choosing to continue to tell yourself that you're using food to soothe. But if not, I'm going to share with you some ways to be able to have a greater sense of self, because not having a sense of self can leave you deeply affected in many areas of your life, your relationships, your choices, your confidence, and even your ability to experience real peace from within, inner peace and fulfillment. And here's what happens. When you lose your sense of self, you often rely on others to tell you what to do, which gives you permission to convince yourself that you don't already know what's best for you, which is not true. If you're in this space, I want to validate that I do know how hard this is. I've been there myself. And I want to encourage you to trust your inner compass. Inside of you, there is a little light. That light is your intuition. And when you constantly are convincing yourself to go away from that light and you lead yourself towards that darkness, that's when you're abandoning your own best interest. And that's when you're going away from your inner compass. So if you can just breathe for a minute and lean into your inner compass, even if there's a voice in the back that's like, that voice is the one that you don't want to let have the steering wheel. So keep holding on to your steering wheel and lean yourself towards that white light, that brightness inside of you, that inner compass. Because without a clear inner compass, you're going to start to look for validation outside of yourself in being liked or needing to be liked or approved by other people to tell you who you are. And this can lead you down a path towards people pleasing, codependency, overwhelm, and ultimately burnout. And so it's a no wonder that you feel like you're using food to soothe. But, now that you can see how damaging this choice is, it's time to start to learn something new. That's what self-discovery allows you to do. Something new that's powerful and exciting and curious. Or you can keep telling yourself that you need food to soothe, which might leave you feeling paralyzed by indecision or constantly second guessing yourself. You might even let others make choices for you so that you can try and avoid this discomfort, all while silently convincing yourself that food will be the answer. And I promise you, this is a trick of your sneaky subconscious, and you must step in front of that voice that tells you to use food to soothe, or you're going to end up suffering through the empty, robotic, directionless feeling, which is where that inner sense of self is going to let go of the steering wheel. And then that loud voice inside of you telling you to go in the wrong direction, and you know that, is going to take the wheel. And that voice, that inner, the times that you feel like you're completely not yourself, you're driving yourself in circles. And so that's where you're left feeling fragile and pained, and you're going to be missing the opportunities to add value to your life and to grow and to trust yourself. And so you do not need food to soothe. Instead, you must learn the framework to step into your own power, set clear boundaries, and take responsibility for your own life, because at the end of the day, no one is coming to rescue you. Now, I know that's hard. That is hard. That is like a, whoa, what? What do you mean nobody's coming to rescue me? Well, there is somebody actually. She is the image of you in the mirror. She's you. You're coming to rescue yourself. Not food, not your parents, not your partner, not your children. You are coming to rescue you so that you can get out of survival mode and step into thriving mode. You must actively grow your own spiritual connection with yourself. Now, you might be like, Lisa, I don't know what that means. That's too scary. All the stuff, all the things. Great. Typically, when we start to talk ourselves out of things, it's just because we think that the first step that we have to take is too high. It's not, though. What if it's not too high? What if everything is figure outable and everything that you want is just on the other side of that fear? Period. End of story. So if you start to not know where to begin and that starts to scare you, I want you to start to tell yourself that you actually can set healthy limits for yourself. Because if you don't, this is going to leave you feeling exhausted and resentful and taken advantage of. Because you probably will be taken advantage of. When you leave yourself open like that, you will be taken advantage of. But that's how you're leading people to treat you. And I know that you don't know how to change that yet, which is really why, help is going to be a wonderful way to step into your own power. I used to think that asking for help was a sign of weakness, but now I know that sitting alone in silence actually is. So in addition to having a clear sense of self, this allows you to heal and grow beyond your limits. You must actively grow your own spiritual connection with yourself. So that way you know where you end and others begin. And if you don't know that, it's going to be hard to set healthy limits, which can leave you feeling exhausted, resentful, or taken advantage of. In addition to having a clear sense of self, this allows you to heal and grow beyond your limits. You deserve to live an extraordinary life where food does not overtake every thought and where you don't have to rely on anything other than your own self-worth and your value so that you can advocate for yourself and your own best interest. No soothing necessary. Can you imagine a life where you didn't have to remain stuck in the identity of your past pain, trauma, or past roles like I'm the fixer of the family, or I'm the caretaker, or I'm the responsible one, all while turning a blind eye to your own self-care? It's just not fair. There's a quote that I love that says, if not you, who? And if not now, when? When will be your turn to feel better about yourself? Why not right now? Seriously, when? Why not right now? After the next diet? After the scale says something different? After your to-do list is finally done or someone else gives you permission? No. Here's the truth. You don't have to earn the right to feel good about yourself. You don't have to wait until you're fixed or thinner or perfect or when things in life calm down. Write this down. Rough seas make better sailors. If you use the things that are happening in your life around you as opportunities instead of pitfalls, then you'll recognize that every opportunity is purposeful, even the challenges. So the key is, can you see the purpose instead of the challenge? Can you give yourself permission to choose to feel better about yourself right now so that you don't have to use food to soothe, because there will be nothing wrong. If there's nothing wrong, you won't need to soothe. Life is meant to be lived, not endured. And when you're using food to soothe, it feels like you have to endure every day. And if the day goes poorly, then you have to use food to soothe, but that's the very same thing that's making you feel horrible about yourself. So it's a contradiction. Tony Robbins often says people's problems are that they don't think they're supposed to have problems. And so I want you to start doing these things right away. 1, I want you to start to tell yourself that you need food to nourish your health. This is a no-brainer. If we want to be healthy in our mind, our bodies, and our spirit, you have to eat nutritious foods. Just like you can't hate yourself into a version of yourself that you love, you also can't get healthy eating empty, nutritionless junk food. 2, start making a conscious decision to speak kindly to yourself. Telling yourself that you need to use food to soothe is a setup for self-sabotage. So you must stop telling yourself that immediately. This is a stepping stone that you must cross if you ever want to get to the other side of the life map that you're on. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. You just have to want to adopt this new way of thinking 1% more than you don't. Can you do that? Can you want to change 1% more than you don't? If so, follow me. Number 3, make one small choice every day that supports your best interests. We call this adding in so that you can crowd out. If you're adding in helpful, purposeful things to your daily life, you will feel so much better about yourself, and you'll be less likely to trip into a space where you start to self-sabotage with food. Your subconscious mind is very clever. If you believe that food is the only source of comfort, it will constantly look for things for you to be upset about. So you'll have to have a reason to soothe. It's not your fault. It is your pattern, though, and you can interrupt it. So instead of automatically reaching for food, I want you to pause and ask yourself, what if the food was here to nourish me and not numb me? When you shift your thoughts around food, you stop using it as a punishment or an escape, and then you begin to use it to care for your own body. This alone creates a powerful ripple effect. It's not about willpower. It's about self-awareness. It's not about control. It's about freedom and self-compassion. And the beautiful part is, the more you practice this, the more you will build a life where believing in yourself becomes stronger than the urge to soothe with food. And so that's how you can begin to break the cycle of emotional eating, using food to soothe yourself. And you can start to feel good about yourself today as you start to shift that 1% trajectory towards your future self. All right. This week in our show notes, we have a link to our masterclass that's called How to Feel Confident and Comfortable in Your Own Skin. We also have a link to a call booking schedule link where you can book a time to talk with me personally. This call is free, simply an opportunity to start to put the pieces of self-discovery together. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step. So booking this call is a beautiful, loving first step, and you deserve, again, to live an extraordinary life where food no longer invades every thought. Anyone can sell you a diet plan. And I want to be the one who teaches you how to never need one again so that you can crush your cravings for good. All right. Until next time, again, my name is Coach Lisa Callahan. I am a recovered emotional eater, and I am a motivational mindset coach because I've taken a journey of self-discovery that has helped me and hundreds of women from around the world crush their food thing forever. All right, until next time, bye for now. All right, my beautiful friend, that brings us to the end of another episode from the Crush Cravings with Confidence podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening today and took something from our conversation that you are going to put into immediate action. I love spending time with you and would be so grateful if you would share this podcast with at least one friend today who you think might be struggling too. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any other amazing topics. And please, please do leave me a review. It would mean the world to me. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.